Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to all of my Scorpios. If you are a Scorpio sun, moon, rising, or north node, this is your tarot reading for the upcoming month of October. And in case anybody is interested, I will be using the Every Little Thing You Do is Magic tarot deck. Love this deck, and you will see why in just a moment. So, let's see what October has in store for Scorpio. Wow. Okay, so the first card that fell out was the Six of Swords with this little puffin here. And then we had the Nine of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands fall out together. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Star. And then under the Star is the Knight of Pentacles. And under that is the Ace of Swords. So even the underlying energy is very, very positive, potent, patient, understanding. So let's dive into what this all means. With the Six of Swords falling out first, this lets me know that you may have been going through a rough time. It could have been in September, or maybe it's the beginning of October. You were going through some sort of like bump in the road, some sort of dark night, something that really tested your mental and emotional state. But the Six of Swords is a card of hope. It's a card of coming back home after the storm. It's seeing the horizon. You might still be a little bit in the storm while this is taking place, but you see the horizon, you know it's coming to the end. You see the dawn coming up from the horizon, as you can see here. In this one, it's an eclipse. So lots of energy there, but it's a card of coming back to yourself, and it's a card of remembering who you were before the storm and also using the wisdom of the storm to help you grow and evolve into an even bigger is the word that wants to come out, a bigger person than you were before, whether that's physically, metaphorically, take it as it resonates. And I think this coming back home to yourself is necessary because there is something else that's on it. This spread, and especially these two cards, are about anticipation almost. It's about being just before that coming home, being just before you're able to harvest the fruits of your labor. So I think October will almost feel like a buffer period, for lack of a better term. It's going to be a period where I don't want to say waiting because there is with Eight of Wands, that's also forward movement and action. But it's almost going to feel like you're just on the precipice to obtaining what it is that you might be working for. And maybe that's what this storm was about. You knew you had to go through this in order to set the foundation for whatever's coming for you next, coming to you next. And the Nine of Pentacles, again, it's another card that's just before the Ten of Pentacles. It's just before that completion. Um, in the Rider-Waite deck, it shows this woman standing in a garden surrounded by all the fruits on her trees, and the fruits are ripe. Well, they're like just about to be ripe and ready for picking, but she's just admiring all of the hard work she did. And maybe that hard work was you just getting through the storm. Maybe this is going to be a time where you're recognizing how deep you went into your own emotional caverns in order to emerge and make it back. And that's something you should be proud of yourself for. And I'll get to the star in a second. I no, I'll get to the star now. Oh, I have chills. That's what that is. It's you went through all of this, and you should have a sense of pride for what you went through because everything you went through brought you to your most full, most authentic version of who you are. It brought you to this sense of self stability and self reliance, and to a point where oh, I have full body chills still. To a point where you're able to just be and not worry about judgment from yourself or from others. And you know that even if you do get judgment from others, it's fine because their judgment ultimately just rolls off your body. It means nothing to you. It means nothing to your sense of self now because you went through the thick of it. You went through the thick of it in order to find the sense of self. And because you went through the storm, the sense of self is now unshakable. The sense of self is now unshakable. And you are standing in that knowing, awaiting your fruition, awaiting just the right moment to pick your fruits and reap the benefits of your harvest. It's that close. It's that close. And I don't want this to seem like, oh, great, so now I just have to wait some more because no, the Eight of Wands tells us that there is fast moving energy, fast paced energy towards whatever it is this harvest represents. So it maybe at the beginning of the month there might be a period of stalling, or there might be a period of like, okay, we're waiting, we're waiting, we're waiting. And that's where this Knight of Pentacles energy comes in. The Knight of Pentacles is overwhelmingly patient, overwhelmingly aware of the length it can take sometimes to obtain what you're working hard for, but he still works diligently despite knowing it might take some time. And that's where that patience comes in. Because if you tap into that patience after you come back from the storm, because again, you have to think of it after like a really bad hurricane. Some things might be destroyed. It won't get fixed overnight. But what comes after, once it is rebuilt, it does take some time, but once it is rebuilt, it's rebuilt with a stronger foundation, steadier walls, and it's usually rebuilt better than it was previously with newer appliances and fresh paint. Everything is similar, but it's like an up level. And what it takes to get to that up level rather than just throwing something together just to have something, that's that patience and the hard work that it takes to get there. So once you tap into that energy of like, okay, I know this might take some time to get back to myself, but I am on the precipice, so I'm willing to take my time, let things happen step by step as they need to. That's when this Eight of Wands energy is going to come in and say like, okay, she learned the lesson. Let's. It's like a like a forward movement, like a wind being carried on the wind, and you can kind of see that with all of the symbolism of these cards as well. It's like all of these geese just getting up and taking flight at the exact same moment. And geese can fly. I don't know how quickly they can fly, but they can fly pretty quick. So, and I like also that the symbolism of this card is it's not just like a lone thing. You might even be surrounded by people who are ready and willing to take those next steps with you and ready and willing to take flight with you and match that pace of forward movement. And I do want to talk about the Ace of Swords and the Magicians under the Ace of Swords. Just saying. I do want to talk about the Ace of Swords too, because the Ace of Swords denotes new beginnings, but it's new beginnings in the face of some sort of loss. But I think this came up for another reading for another zodiac sign. I think in this case, the loss is more of a shedding of who you were previously because you are now tapped into the star energy where there's this authenticity, there's this genuine authenticity and genuine love for who you are and what you bring to the world. So it's almost like you're losing the person you were before you were tapped into your divine self. And the star is not only about being your authentic self in the physical, it's also about seeing how interwoven and interconnected the physical is with that which we can't see, with the spiritual side of life, with divinity, with all of that beauty that exists beyond our physical senses, except I guess feeling. And I guess, well, that's where the clairs come in. Anyway, you know what I mean. It's tapping into that side of life that's like I know it's a bone deep knowing. I know I will be okay standing tall in my own authenticity because I am backed. I am backed by entities and spirits and love 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 that I might not be able to see, but I can feel. I can feel it deep in my bones. That's how you're walking in the month of October, Scorpio. And so with this new beginning with the loss, I think you're losing that doubt. You're losing that skepticism. You're losing that inability to acknowledge what's beyond. And holy moly, what beauty. What beauty that is. And I do want to touch on the magician. Oh my gosh, and the Page of Cups is under the magician. I might not even need to shuffle again. Like all of these energies coming through are ridiculous in the best way. In the best way. With the magician and then the page of cups is a messenger. As I'm talking about the spiritual side of life, the page of cups is a messenger, and the magician tells you that you can be thrifty and bring about anything you need in this reality only using what's available to you, only using the resources that you have. And of course in the tarot it's the swords, the cups, pentacles, and the wands, as you can see on the card. But it's just using what you have, and sometimes all that is your energy and your mindset and using that to make magic in your life. And again, with the magician and the page of cups and the ace of swords and the star, it's like there's this overwhelming invitation. There's an overwhelming invitation, again, from the forces we cannot see, but we know they're there. There's an invitation to tap in the month of October, Scorpio. And you guys already, you can go really, really deep. And I think a lot of you know that. But because of that, similar with Pisces, because of that, Scorpios, sometimes when you're younger, You go too deep too quickly without even knowing what's going on, which can eventually just lead, not even eventually, which if you go too deep too soon, you can unconsciously shut off that valve. Just completely sever ties with it because you're like, nope, I don't know what that was, and fall into that fear. You can let the fear drive you, turn off that valve, completely disconnect yourself from the unknown. But when it's time to tap back in, spirit will let you know. And you'll feel that call from your heart. And you'll recognize that, okay, I turned off the valve maybe when I was younger because I didn't know what I was getting into. And that was actually the best choice for me in that moment. That was actually the right decision because I could have led myself down some really scary paths before I was ready for them and, fallen into who knows what in terms of mental health. But spirit has a way of knowing when to tap on our shoulders and be like, hey, do you remember? And I think the month of October is going to be that reintroduction. If you haven't already been reintroduced, of course. Some of you guys have been in the soup. You've been in the soup for a long time. And this is just a reminder to come back to yourself and really acknowledge that sense of love that you carry with you everywhere you go. But for others, again, the valve, that's also what the magician is saying here too. The valve is slowly starting to open back up. And as long as you allow that and protect yourself, set up good energetic boundaries that says, okay, I'm going to turn this valve back on, but I do not welcome anything that has any sort of negative intention. Any entity, any energy, anything that is here that does not serve my highest good or the highest good of the all or my loved ones or whoever you want to involve in this. Anybody that does not serve that highest good, any entity that does not serve that highest good is banished, is not welcome here. That, like, energy work, I don't want to say it's that easy, but in terms of setting up your own personal boundaries with energy work, it takes a single sentence. And the spirits know how to respect that. The spirits can respect no, luckily. Um, but anyway, back to this. There's going to be a lot of magic and anticipation coming your way. And I don't want you to just sit on your hands. I shouldn't say I, because it's not even about me. It would be best for you not to just sit on your hands and wait. The more action you can take, but knowing that every step is a baby step and tapping into that patience in terms of coming back to yourself, coming back home to yourself, your full authentic self, having the patience to know that it's going to take a little bit of time until you can reap the harvest that's waiting for you, the abundance that's waiting for you. But once you do tap into that sense of patience and that sense of understanding that this will take time, you will have fast moving energy towards this new beginning that's waiting for you. And not only that, you will have all of the things you need, all of the resources you need available to you to make that happen. And it's important to listen out to the messages from the divine that are coming through right now because there is so much wisdom. There is so much wisdom and guidance for you there. So even if you are still a little bit scared and moving through fear when working with these unseen energies, there's still a loving guidance there. So again, if you are still a little bit scared, maybe because of what you've experienced in the past was too much too soon, this is another time where you can tap into that patient energy, that step by step. If you're not ready to completely turn on that valve and open back up, you can turn it on little by little and just start acknowledging the small little bits of synchronicities and magic that come through as you start to increase your awareness towards the divine. And that's the beauty of it too. It's the energies beyond us, the energies we can't see, they will never ever push us too far beyond what we're ready for. I actually had an intense experience in meditation the other day where it was almost like a slideshow. I'm being called to share this story. It was almost like a slideshow as I was sitting there. And I could feel myself in the presence in like a sacred circle with a fire in the middle. It felt like I can't even explain it because I've never experienced something like this before, but I was in a sacred circle with other beings. And I was supposed to be there. I felt my energy was needed there. I don't know what we were doing. There was chanting, whatever. But it was as if there was like a slideshow going on through through my awareness of like different things that I've been through and moved through and healed and released until all of a sudden, behind my awareness slowly starts creeping up. This one aspect of my healing I have not even gotten to yet, haven't even dipped my toes in the water. And it started off like as small as a star in the sky. But behind my awareness, before I even knew it, it got closer and closer and closer and closer and closer until it was like I was staring into the sun of this massive thing that I unconsciously was not ready to step into. And the women, the beings I was with recognized that. I was trying to force myself into acknowledging this thing so I could release it and heal it. But thank goodness for the beings I was with. They were like, "Baby, you don't need to do this too soon. You don't need to force yourself into this acknowledgement if you're not ready for it." And I thanked everything for that awareness, for that second opinion, because I felt that I was supposed to be in that circle, and I felt that me bringing this unhealed thing to the surface was actually harming the circle, when in reality, that's what that circle is for. That circle was simply to bring that thing to my awareness, so in my own time, I could move through it and I can heal it. And that's what tapping into these divine energies are for. We, however you want to describe it, it will not force you into something you're not ready for. It might bring something to your awareness just so you can consciously acknowledge it, but until you're actually ready to take the steps to feel through all of the depth that that thing brought into your life and release it finally to be transmuted back up into the ethers, you won't be forced. You will not be forced. You'll be lovingly nudged a little bit, but you will never be forced. So if you are moving through fear still, and just fear from the past and fear of what you've been through, just tap into that deep knowing that everything is coming up for a reason, and I can take it as quickly or as slowly as I want to take it. Part of me, with this Eight of Wands energies, thinks that you guys are going to want to dive in. At least some of you are going to want to dive in, and that's amazing. Others of you will want to take that patience, that Knight of Pentacles pathway, and take it step by step. And no path is better than the other. No path is more right. It's exactly beautiful, and it's exactly what you need for your journey. So take it in your own pace in the month of October. Take it as it comes. And if at the very least, just start acknowledging the little synchronicities, those little nudges that you get, and give thanks for them. Give thanks for every single one that you see. Every single one. Whether it's angel numbers or a passing conversation, you hear a certain trigger word, or animals out in nature, little bugs. I've had scarab beetles all over my property these last couple months, and I give thanks for every single one of them that I see. Every single one. There's magic all around us, there's symbolism all around us, and that's what October wants to bring you, Scorpio. It's reawakening that awareness that magic is real, magic exists, that you are magic. Oh, I shuffled the deck. I was about to say, where's the magician? You are the magician. You are magic. I have it here. You are the magician. Don't forget it. It's October is a time to reawaken that. To reawaken that. And we have the Queen of Wands at the bottom of the deck, and the High Priestess under the Queen of Wands. And the High Priestess under the Queen of Wands. So there's a sense of curiosity and a sense of tapping into your intuition to guide you. So this one has two lions, a black cat, and a butterfly. I don't know if that's symbolism for any of you guys, but I felt the need to point that out. And then the High Priestess, of course, she is the keeper, and the moon! Oh. The High Priestess is the keeper of all spiritual wisdom. She is at the doorway from the physical to the spiritual. She can answer questions, but it's going to be in a loving way, even if that loving way is tough love. The moon, tapping into your unconscious body, your subconscious realm, and allowing yourself to not be so tamed in the process, and not to be afraid of the wild wolf that exists within you. That wild wolf is what connects us to the divinity. That's the overwhelming message here. It's you are divinely protected, and you have the capability to tap into this overwhelming pool of knowledge, this waterfall, this beautiful crystalline pool of knowledge that is beyond in our what's in our physical. It's up to you to take it as fast or slow as you need to, but this spread is saying Babe, you are so protected as you go through. The Queen of Wands encourages that exploration. It encourages being led by your intuition towards that sense of adventure, towards that sense of inner knowing as well. It's a call to action, but again, the action can be as fast or slow, as big or small as it needs to be, as long as you are consciously taking the steps. And as long as you are, even if you're not, even if you're not, you are still divinely cradled and divinely protected through every step of the way, every step of your journey. So, just to recap, October, you're coming back to yourself after a really tough period. You're finding the horizon through the storm. And as you get back to yourself, as you come back to that wholeness, that full authentic self, you're recognizing that you are just about ready to reap the benefits of your harvest. You're about ready to pluck that fruit off the tree. But it might take some time. You might need to shift your perspective, have a little patience, take it day by day, step by step, but know that with every step you take, you're getting closer to that overwhelmingly fast paced energy that will lead you back to your authentic self if you're not already there. And once you are tapped into all of those energies, you will have a shedding of the old to welcome in some sort of new beginning, even if that's just a new mindset that's leading you forward on this journey towards your spiritual awareness, towards your unconscious self, so you can help bring that wildness out and not be afraid to tap into the wisdom that the wild wolf offers. You are going to be led and divinely guided towards through your intuition, towards that sense of adventure, towards that curiosity that leads you back to yourself even further, to yourself and to the divine. And as you lead yourself back into both, you recognize they're interchangeable. They are one in the same. They're one in the same. And October is a spiritual month for you guys. Some of you guys even have birthdays in October. Overwhelmingly positive, overwhelmingly spiritual. It's just overwhelmingly yourself. That's all you have to do. And that feels so complete. Wow. If you guys liked any of this reading, if any of it resonated, please leave a like, leave a comment, and let me know about your journey. Or you can follow my channel. There's always more to come if you do that. If you want a personalized reading, because of course this was a general reading, so maybe not everything resonated, you can check out my website linked in the bio below, and you can book directly with me for tarot, astrology, or human design readings there. I also have my Patreon linked below, and I'm always posting about spiritual topics, learning, information. I'm working on courses right now, so more to come there. If you want to check that out, that is also linked below. But Scorpio, October is about coming back to yourself and tapping into the magic that you have within and without you. Release the fears. Take it as you need to. Take it at your own pace, but release the fears and move with love because you are divinely protected. Set up those energetic boundaries before you do anything. Set up those energetic boundaries. Carry some crystals if you need to. Do what you got to do. Remember, it takes one sentence to set that up and make sure you are protected in that. But otherwise, oh my God, I'm so excited for you guys. And I'll see you next time.